We judge, at this point in time, that it's still technically possible to have presidential elections in November 2016. If the political momentum is there, it's still technically possible.
What is the UK government's official position on the Congolese elections?
We spend £1 million a day in DRC, about $500 million a year, in order to support the development of the country, in order to support democracy and the rule of law. So we really are very, very, very close to DRC and very keen on ensuring that the country is as democratic as possible and that it has an upward trajectory in terms of poverty levels and so on. So we are absolutely clear that part of that democratic transition, part of ensuring that this is a country that thrives, this is a country that really comes out of poverty, this is a country where you see inclusive growth, part of all of that is ensuring that the elections happen according to the Constitution and on time. So we're very, very clear in speaking to interlocutors in DRC that that is what we want, and that is what we're ready and able to help to achieve.
What has the response been from the Congolese government, from Joseph Kabila's government?
There is a signal that the government does want elections to go ahead on time, but at the same time there's a signal that it's all terribly complicated, there are many hurdles to get through, and there's a sense of a lack of confidence that the elections can happen on time. And certainly we've seen some signals which make us rather doubtful that the government is wholly committed to elections happening on time.
In 2008, Barack Obama said, when he visited Ghana, that Africa doesn't need strong men, it needs strong institutions. And he made a pledge that the US would support strong institutions. Now, obviously that's the US, but what obligations does the international community have, given its role in destabilizing the Congo throughout history and its continued use of minerals extracted from the DRC's land? What obligations do they have towards the Congo and its people to make sure that these elections do go ahead and their voices are heard?
We have a really strong obligation to support elections on time and to support the democratic development of DRC. It isn't for no reason that the government of the UK spends £1 million a day in DRC. We feel our obligation, and the international community as a whole feels its obligation. And more than that, we want ordinary people of DRC to thrive. We want this mineral-rich country to be a country that's rich in and of itself. It's extraordinary that there are so many desperately poor people in DRC. There shouldn't be so many desperately poor people in a country that has so much potential.
Can international tech giants really claim, with all the money and resources that they have at their disposal, that they don't know where their minerals are coming from? Can anyone believe that for a second?
Well, they shouldn't claim it, should they? Essentially, it is up to international mining giants or international tech giants or whatever they are, international companies, to ensure that they do their due diligence and to ensure that things like child labour is not a part of their industry. I imagine that it's not terribly easy to understand the chain within DRC because, as I've said, it's fairly unregulated, it's fairly uncontrolled, and it's a very, very large country. So I imagine there are issues around understanding the production chain, but I don't think that's a terribly good excuse when it comes to things like child labour. I think due diligence must be done and child labour must be eradicated. I think DRC is a wonderful, beautiful and diverse country, and the Congolese people are some of the happiest and most charming people that you could possibly encounter. It's a country that, despite history and despite all the blockages that are put in its way, that's full of optimism, that's full of energy, that's full of life. And I really do honestly believe that these wonderful people, given good governance and given opportunities, given the opportunity to flourish economically through inclusive growth, through these kinds of micro to macro initiatives, could really make a huge difference in Africa. I encourage the international community to grow in interest in DRC, and I would hope that a few years down the line I'll be able to encourage small, medium, big, any sort of British business to get involved and work alongside DRC companies and really find out how to work together with the people of DRC to create a vibrant and prosperous society.